afternoon, good evening, whenever, wherever you are listening. Thank you so very much for making me a part of your day. My name is Lee Parham. You might know me as Lego Lee or Lego Lee 329 from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, you name it. I am all over the internet, and this is the Brickology Podcast, the study of small plastic bricks. How are you doing today? I sincerely hope you are having a fantastic day. June is coming to a close. We're almost halfway through the year 2020. This year has been absolutely bonkers. It's felt like it's blown by and been the slowest year all at the same time. That makes no sense, but I honestly think you guys might be able to relate to that statement. And before I start today's episode, I do need to address the elephant in the room. Yes, I missed last week's upload of Brickology. It was not planned. I had, this episode that's about to happen now scheduled for last week, but I ended up postponing it a week. And here's why. I was out of town celebrating a very good friend of mine's graduation. And first off, congratulations to that person. I won't name names, but you know who you are if you are listening. And we partied hard for a few days and ended up staying at their place for a while. And I was really tired. I was very tired. I got home last week late on Thursday, and then I had my brother's birthday to celebrate, and then Father's Day was a few days later. There was a lot of celebration there all at once. Also, happy birthday to my brother and happy Father's Day to my dad, but there was a lot of celebrating at once. I was pretty tired and my voice had kind of gone away, and I was just like, you know what? Everybody needs a bye week. I hadn't missed an upload of Brickology since February. I had been uploading consistently every week for like 3 months straight almost, but last week I took the week off. I apologize if I let anybody down. I definitely didn't mean to take the week off, but it ended up being something necessary for me. And now we're going to get back into the swing of things with Brickology. No more days off. Brickology will get back on its normal weekly schedule. However, next week is 4th of July weekend. I know I'll be going out of town again. Hopefully I can plan accordingly, but I'm also moving out of my current apartment. So if I miss next week, no, that's why, or that episode might be posted a day early or a day late. Not entirely sure what's going to happen there, but besides that, Brickology will be back on the normal schedule. And the last episode of Brickology I did 2 weeks ago was about Lego Avatar: The Last Airbender sets, which of course is a licensed theme. So continuing with Brickology's consistent pattern, that means this week is for an unlicensed theme. This is actually going to be the last unlicensed theme episode of this week that I decided on, because the next one in 2 weeks will be the fan vote episode. More on that later. And this week's theme, we'll just jump straight into talking about it, is Lego Adventurers, and specifically the Egypt sub-theme. Now, I already mentioned that my brother's birthday was last week, and I wanted to upload this episode like right after his birthday. It's ending up being a week late, but Lego Adventures is my brother's all-time favorite Lego theme. He's not quite as obsessed with Lego as I am, but he loved Lego Adventures when he was younger, and Lego Adventures was a little bit before my time, really. I was alive for the whole run, but I was extremely young. And to kind of set the scene, of course, let's talk about what Lego Adventurers is. So it's an original Lego action theme, and it follows the adventures, shocker, the theme called Adventurers is about the adventures of the main character named Johnny Thunder. Now, who is Johnny Thunder, you may ask? One, he's like a Lego icon. This man is one of the most iconic original Lego characters ever made, and he's essentially Indiana Jones. He looks like Indiana Jones. He wears a similar fedora-style hat to Indiana Jones. For all intents and purposes, Johnny Thunder is a knockoff Indiana Jones, and literally the sets are pretty much just knockoffs of different Indiana Jones films / a couple of other movie franchises mixed in. We won't really talk about those too much today, but let's continue on about talking about what Lego Adventurers is. The theme ran from 1998 to 2003, so a solid 5-year run, and it had many different sub-themes. Now, we will discuss every sub-theme of Adventurers on Brickology at some point. I'm probably going to do one a season until I get through all of them, but Today's episode is just going to be about the LEGO Adventure sets from the sub-theme that Brickset refers to as Desert. A lot of people refer to this as LEGO Adventurers Egypt. And I think obviously Desert, Egypt, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's set in Egypt, and it's extremely similar again to Indiana Jones and the first Indiana Jones movie, which is primarily set in Egypt, and that is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, a very short plot description according to Wikipedia. They write, the adventurers have traveled to Egypt to find the legendary Rayku ruby, no idea if I'm saying that correctly, which is said to have magical powers. It is under the protection of the undead pharaoh Hotep. Very simple stuff there. Very similar to lots of popular movie franchises, also like The Mummy. However, the Mummy movie starring Brendan Fraser actually came out in 1999, which was a year after this theme came out in 1998. But there are some older Mummy movies that this definitely drew some inspiration from. It's very simple stuff. The plot is nothing spectacular, but the characters, I think, are really kind of what helps this theme. I mentioned in my episode about Rock Raiders that Rock Raiders is one of the first LEGO themes to ever have named characters, and Adventurers is actually one of the few themes before Rock Raiders that had specific named characters. Now, we already mentioned the iconic Johnny Thunder, and each of these characters has a little description that I found on Wikipedia that I will read for you all today. So Johnny Thunder is described as the leading man in LEGO Adventures line. He is an Australian, and he is daring, compassionate archaeologist. He sports khaki shirt with a red bandana, his black legs, and a brown bush hat. So there is Johnny Thunder. Now, some of Johnny Thunder's cohorts include Dr. Charles Lightning, who was later renamed Dr. Kilroy, but he was referred to as Charles Lightning for this original wave, who is described as one of Johnny Thunder's companions on his epic adventures. He is a professor and is like a father-like figure to Johnny. He sports a pith helmet, a white shirt, and a red bow tie with green legs. Now, Charles Lightning is very similar to Indiana Jones's father, Henry Jones Sr., played by Sean Connery in The Last Crusade film. In fact, they used the exact same piece they made for Charles Lightning's hat for Henry Jones Sr. when he became a minifigure later on. And if you want to know more about LEGO Indiana Jones, I actually did an episode about LEGO Indiana Jones a few months ago. I believe it was the 7th total episode of Brickology. Continuing on with some of these adventurers characters, we had Gale Storm, who was later renamed Pippin Reed. This is the female companion of Johnny Thunder, who is a budding journalist from the quote-unquote World magazine, recording all of his adventures. She sports a green, brown, or tan jacket, red legs or tan legs, and either a pith helmet or a pilot helmet. So that is the main female character from this line. And LEGO back in the day, now they have a lot more female characters, which is absolutely fantastic. Thankfully they did that. But, back in the day, they kind of had the one token female character. And finally, for the good guys, we had the character Harry Kane, who, if you kind of say that quickly, it sounds like the word hurricane. And he is one of Johnny Thunder's best friends, who is an experienced pilot. He wears a pilot helmet with a leather jacket and black legs. Not a lot else is described about him. And one consistent thing for all the heroes from this wave is all of their names are related to weather. Johnny Thunder, Lightning, one guy's name just sounds like Hurricane, and of course Storm. All of them have weather-themed names, which I've always found kind of funny. And this is actually something that was carried over to the line of Pharaoh's Quest sets from the year 2011 that a lot of younger LEGO fans might remember. All the characters from Pharaoh's Quest actually continued this trend of having weather-related names. That's just kind of a funny little tidbit about these two themes and some, kind of continuity between the two of them. And now we can move on to talking about the villains from LEGO Adventures, and an iconic villain that actually was featured heavily in a brand new LEGO set that we'll talk about in just a second here is Baron von Barron. I love this name. It's one of the stupidest names, but it's just hilarious. It rolls off the tongue super well. Baron von Barron is the name, and his description reads as the main villain in the Adventurers line. line, he seeks to take things he considers valuable, including dinosaurs. He has a scarred face and he sports a monocle khaki shirt with a holster, gray legs, epaulets, and either a pith helmet, top hat, or pilot helmet, and his left hand is a hook. Now, Baron von Barron is actually like one of the most important characters of the brand new LEGO Haunted House set that just came out a few weeks ago. The new LEGO Haunted House set is specifically supposed to be Baron von Barron's mansion, and it has a lot of artifacts that he would have stolen from his times in the LEGO Adventures line. That's a really cool Easter egg that LEGO really, honed in on with that Haunted House set, and I love that about this set. And Baron von Barron is one of the more iconic LEGO villains. Now, for his sidekicks, he had a character named Slyboots, who was also known later as Sam Sinister. Slyboots is kind of a weird name. I think I prefer Sam Sinister, and he's described as the sidekick or partner to Baron von Barron, one of the main villains. He dresses entirely in black and is a representative archetypal villain. Not much there, but that is Slyboots / Sam Sinister. And finally, of course, we have the villain of this line that's not the human. Well, he was a human, and that is Pharaoh Hotep, who is an undead pharaoh who guards the magical Regu Ruby. Again, I have no idea if I'm saying the name of that correctly. So those are the characters for LEGO Adventures. It's a very colorful cast of characters. I love these characters. They have some really unique names and stories, and they have become icons in LEGO. So now that we've described the plot and the characters, it's time to jump into talking about the actual LEGO Adventurer sets themselves. So the year is 1998. Your boy Lego Lee here, your residential brickologist, was 1 year old. I was extremely young, so obviously I don't really remember this time period. Now, my two older brothers do, and like I've already mentioned, one of my older brothers absolutely loved the Adventure line. Both of them did. They were like 5-6 years old when these sets were coming out, the absolute ideal age to be obsessed with the Adventurers line. And basically, there are a lot of sets from 98 based off LEGO Adventures in this Egypt sub-theme. 25 total sets were released in total, according to Brickset. Now, some of them were very random promotional polybag sets that I will not be focusing on today. In some sets were different promotional items available in different countries, like in Japan, kind of like with Rock Raiders included with like some candies and stuff. I won't be focusing on that stuff today, and some of them actually came out in 99 and 2000, which is weird, so there are some odd outliers to the Egypt sub-theme. I'm just going to be focusing today on the main line of boxed sets from this Egypt sub-theme. We're not going to dig super deep into all the small promotional polybags and all that jazz. We're only going to focus on what I consider to be like the really important Adventurers Egypt sets from this year. So without further ado, let's dive into those sets. I'm going through these sets based off their sorted set numbers on Brickopedia. The first one we're going to talk about today is the Desert Expedition. This was a $20 set with 192 pieces. It included the figures Harry Kane, Sam Sinister, Baron von Barron, and Dr. Charles Lightning. Interestingly, there is no Johnny Thunder included with this set, but you did get 4 named characters. Now, the builds included with this set, first off, you got a small sarcophagus. You also got a little old-timey kind of car build, a 1920s style car. A lot of those will be mentioned throughout today's episode of Brickology. And then you got a biplane with a shark mouth at the front. This was a pretty cool look, had some nice printed pieces for this shark mouth. I definitely dug the look of this build for this set. And this set really was a nice little scene. It was a $20 set, less than 200 pieces, but you got a fair number of builds and made for a nice little battle scene. There was actually a lot going on with this set. And interestingly, this set actually kind of has 2 names. It was released as a normal box set referred to as the Desert Expedition, but then the set was also released as a set titled Treasure Raiders, and this was the exact same set for the same price of $20 US, but it also came with this storage container that was in the shape of a mummy. It was a plastic storage container that looks kind of like a sarcophagus for a mummy that you could put the pieces of the set into, or you could use it as like a bottle or a thermos or something. Very interesting, and actually not the last time you'll hear something like that in today's episode. So that is very interesting. Now, for 70 pieces and no price, because this was actually a shop at home promo, we had the Adventurer's car. This set came with Dr. Charles Lightning, and the build was an old-timey car, a 20s style car, with storage in the back for a skeleton figure and a crate. 70-piece set. It was a shop at home promo all the way back in 98. It has to be one of the earliest shop at home promos because obviously the internet was still fairly, a little bit of a newer concept at the time. And these old-timey cars, prepare to get sick of them. Prepare to get sick of me saying old-timey car, because a lot of them come in these adventure sets, and if you collected this entire wave, you would have a small little army of this kind of automobile. So just bear with me saying the word old-timey car. I couldn't think of a better description because they're obviously not licensed, but they look like cars from the 1920s. Now, for $8 with 81 pieces from this line, we had the Adventurer's Tomb. This set came with Sam Sinister and Pharaoh Hotep. I believe it's the cheapest way in a box set, at least, to get Pharaoh Hotep. And the builds here is you get a tiny old-timey car for Sam Sinister, but it's a really small one. Like, it's a very, very small car, a polybag kind of build. And it also came with a small tomb with some printed hieroglyphics and a sarcophagus for Pharaoh Hotep. And there was, like a feature for him to kind of break out. And he had a scorpion and a snake and the ruby that he could hold. There was also a storage crate with some tools for Sam Sinister. It was a good small $8 set, 81 pieces, good price, but a small set nevertheless. Moving on to a slightly bigger set for $20 with 161 pieces, we had the set referred to as the Valley of the Kings. It was $20, 161 pieces, and the figures included here were Johnny Thunder. Actually, the first time we're mentioning the Johnny Thunder figure in the set segment of today's episode, and he came with a video camera. You also got the main villain, Baron Von Barron, and you got some builds. You had a car, shocker, but this one was actually a little bit different because this car was built from a sarcophagus piece. Like, the chassis of the car where you could put the actual figures was made from the sarcophagus piece, recolored in tan. Very strange. It was a really strange looking car. I'm not entirely sure what LEGO was going for there. And actually, on the box, the car is seen broken down. One of its wheels is completely detached. Very odd. That's a very odd thing. The car in this set, I think, is really quite strange. Now, the rest of the builds of this set, you got a small side tomb build that had some snakes kind of crawling out of it, and then the main build was a bigger tomb that had a surprise skeleton mummy inside with a fun little feature to reveal that. And like the set that I mentioned earlier, this one also has another version of the set for the exact same price that had that aforementioned storage container, and that one was referred to as the Treasure Tomb. So very interesting little weird details about this set. Now we can move on to, I was going to say the bigger sets from this line because I actually made a typo in my notes. I listed the next set referred to as the Scorpion Tracker as a $40 set. However, I added an extra zero. This is a $4 set with 35 pieces. It included Johnny Thunder and some scorpions, and the build was an old-timey car. Yep, that's literally all this set was. Johnny Thunder, some accessories, a map, scorpions, and another old-timey car. Let's move on from that not $40 set. Now for $6, we had the set referred to as Bi-Wing Baron. Now my brother, who loved LEGO Adventures, actually got me this set for my birthday this past March. This set is a $6 set with 70 pieces, and it includes one minifigure, Baron von Barron, with his pilot helmet on, and the build is a very small biplane, and that's it. It has a couple of guns on the top. Really simple biplane build. Also included that same treasure map that we've already mentioned, but a nice biplane build nevertheless. So kind of going through some of these little impulse size sets, we also have the $8 77 piece set known as the Oasis Ambush. This set included Johnny Thunder and Sam Sinister, and the build was a quote-unquote oasis. Now, an oasis, for those of you who don't know, is like a spot in the middle of a desert that is fluent with, wildlife. It has water and trees and stuff where everything else is completely dead and barren. This oasis had one palm tree and then a small Sphinx build. Now, the Sphinx build that was included here is very cool, but I think calling this an oasis is definitely a bit of an overstatement. I don't know if one tree makes something an oasis, but it was a pretty cool set nevertheless. And the small Sphinx build is in the shape of Anubis. LEGO loves making sphinxes in the shape of Anubis instead of like a pharaoh. I always thought that's kind of interesting because sphinxes in Egypt are not in the shape of Anubis, but whatever, I do love the aesthetic of the god of the dead from ancient Egypt, Anubis, nevertheless. And this one, like a lot of these sets, had a very fun mummy reveal feature and also included some scorpions as well and a skeleton mummy. A pretty cool little set, although I think the name is a little bit on the misleading side of things. Now for $30 from this wave, with 260 pieces, we had the Mummy's Tomb. This set included Johnny Thunder, Dr. Charles Lightning, Sam Sinister, and Pharaoh Hotep, and the builds were, wait for it, a small old-timey car. Yep, another small car that's very similar to all the ones that we have gotten, but that was just a side build. The main build here, the actual mummy tomb, is a bigger sized tomb on a decent sized base plate. I believe it was a 16 by 8 base plate. There was an obelisk with some hieroglyphics off to the side, which was definitely a cool thing to see. Then you had a small rock statue with a booby trap that would kind of shoot some spears, again very akin to the first Indiana Jones movie. And then you also had a feature here where you could twist a thing and this kind of sarcophagus looking build would turn into revealing Pharaoh Hotep, and he was equipped with a lot of cool gear in this set. So the main build of this set was very cool. It also included one palm tree. So was this part of that aforementioned oasis because of just the one single palm tree? I'm not sure, but it was a cool $30 set. Moving towards the bigger sets from this line, for $50 with 347 pieces, we had Sphinx Secret Surprise. Say that 5 times fast, lots of alliteration with the name there. The figures included with this set were Johnny Thunder, Dr. Charles Lightning, Gale Storm, Baron von Barron, Sam Sinister, and Pharaoh Hotep. And the builds included with this set, say it with me, 3, 2, 1, a small old-timey car that just seems to come in pretty much all of these Adventurers Egypt sets. And then you also had a tent side build, very cool cloth tent piece. We don't see that too often from LEGO. That was a really nice piece. And then the main build was all on a big LEGO baseplate piece. LEGO does not use these kind of raised baseplate pieces anymore. They're like normal baseplates, but they have like built-in terrain and have some sections that are printed and some sections that kind of act as like little hidden chambers. So when you add pieces to it, it makes for a more impressive display. I like the classic old baseplate pieces, even though they kind of limit some creativity with the build, they are still cool pieces. And this set had some obelisks. It had multiple obelisk builds, which I think are very cool. There was another small oasis type tree. So I guess all of these sets really are part of this oasis that LEGO has created. You had an Anubis statue off to the side of the Sphinx, but the Sphinx this time is actually what you would think a Sphinx from ancient Egypt would look like. Now, the Sphinx was kind of gray and very colorful, where Sphinx in actual ancient Egypt are kind of more tan and less colorful, especially after thousands of years of decaying over time. But at least this Sphinx definitely resembled what you'd think a normal Sphinx from, ancient Egypt would look like. And I do like that LEGO actually went with that here. And of course, yet again, another repetitive thing is there is a hidden mummy kind of feature where Pharaoh Hotep can kind of hide inside this Sphinx. That made for a pretty cool, fun action reveal play feature. And this set, the $50 347 Sphinx's Secret Surprise set, was voted on by my fans on Instagram as the best LEGO Adventurers Desert/Egypt set. Personally, I was a bit surprised. I kind of thought the next set I'm going to mention would be voted the best, but you know what? It's a good set. I do appreciate the build, even with some interesting colors, so I can understand why a lot of people might have voted this set as the best Adventurers Egypt set. And finally, the biggest set from this line, the $80 711-piece set, is referred to as the Temple of Anubis. This set included Johnny Thunder, Dr. Lightning, Gale Storm, Pharaoh Hotep, Baron Von Baron, Sam Sinister, so pretty much all the main characters besides Harry Kane. And the builds of this set, the first one is, drumroll please, a small car, but wait, this car has 6 wheels. It's actually slightly different from all the other 4-wheeled cars we had mentioned throughout today's episode. So thank God we actually got a little bit of a different car with this big set. And speaking of vehicles, there was a hot air balloon included with this set, which is very cool. And LEGO does not make too many hot air balloons. I mean, still to this day, they're very seldomly found in LEGO sets. So getting one here is very cool. It had some big hot air balloon specialized pieces and a cloth net piece on the top. It was a very, very cool build. Also, this set included a big temple build. The outside shape kind of looks like a skull. This design reminds me a lot of an Alpha Team set from the year 2004. Ogle's Ice Base has a very similar kind of build, although this one is not built on a raised base plate. It's actually just built on a more normal base plate, and they build it up really well. And there are printed pieces all around with hieroglyphics and lots of cool designs. It's a very cool and striking looking temple. At the top was a sarcophagus looking piece, and the entrance was kind of like the mouth of this skull. It was a really aesthetically and cool looking design. And this set includes lots of cool pieces. There are skeletons, snakes, scorpions, lots of cool things all around. And of course, inside the temple, kind of like a side build, is like a little tomb for Pharaoh Hotep, which is very cool. There's also some treasure for the bad guys to go after and try and steal. And yet again, there are some trees, because you know what? Trees are required for this line because it's all part of an oasis according to LEGO. And like I mentioned, this is the biggest set from the line. Really, the one thing that confuses me about this set is, why is this set not a pyramid? I mean, seriously, it's an Egypt-based theme. That's like the most iconic thing from ancient Egypt. The Pharaoh's Quest line from 2011, the biggest set of that line, was in fact a pyramid. It's strange to me that they built this temple but didn't make it a pyramid. And it's not like pyramids are super hard to make in LEGO even in 1998, because it's just, just stack blocks on top of each other as you get, smaller towards the top. I really think this should have been a pyramid. It's a weird complaint to complain about this thing being something it's not, but just based on kind of what I know about Egypt and just kind of what I think a lot of people might assume about a theme that's inspired by ancient Egypt, it seems like this should have been a pyramid in some way, shape, or form. So it's not a pyramid, kind of weird, but it's still a very cool looking set. And that is all. Those are all the LEGO Adventurers Egypt sets that came in boxes. I hope you guys learned something from today's episode of Brickology. Had a lot of fun researching this line, and don't worry, Adventurers fans, there is Jungle, Dino Island, and Orient Expedition, a lot more adventure stuff that I will talk about in the future of Brickology. More adventure episodes are going to come, and thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, episode. I sincerely apologize for missing last week. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, but if it does, I will try to let people know a little bit more ahead of time, because this time I abruptly just didn't upload an episode, and definitely, my streams went down and my Instagram visits went down, so that's something I hope to avoid in the future. Also, get ready, in 2 weeks there will be a fan vote for what the 10th episode of season 2 for Brickology will be, so look out for that on my Instagram page. And speaking of Instagram, go find me online. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. I just made a brand new Twitter for Lego Lee. You can find me on Twitter at LegoLee329. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you really love my content, maybe consider becoming a Patreon supporter. Like, any donation, $1 a month, will go a long way for getting more awesome content like this podcast or the videos or Instagram posts I do. So thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Brickology. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and week. Hope to see you guys later. Peace out. Bye-bye.